Hello everybody, I'm Genevieve and thanks for hanging out with me today again. So in this channel, I talk about money, midlife and motherhood. So today I'm really going to talk about this one budgeting app that has been super useful to me. Before this budgeting app came to my life, I didn't really know how much I spent on a daily basis, even on a monthly basis. I used to keep one of those Excel budgeting sheet. After a while, I just don't use it. So now I'm a completely different person. For the past 3 to 4 years, I know where every single cent goes, literally every single cent. And what it really does for me is it makes me definitely calmer because I feel like I'm in control. It's a really good feeling. And I think it is really because I found this a really easy app. It's not free. I'll talk about it a little bit more later, but it is a really simple system that fits with my life. Okay, I think that's the most important thing, right? It's got to fit with your life. And what this app is called is it's called YNAB. YNAB. You need a budget. Okay, so this is a disclaimer. This is not a sponsored post. Obviously, I'm a nobody, but I'm just a super fan. It is not a free app. However, they have a 34-day trial. I know, when my friend told me about it, I'm like, what, 34 days? This is pretty amazing because most apps and software only give you like 7 to 10 days at max, right? I was wondering like, why are they so generous? But it makes sense. 34 days because it's a one salary cycle, right? They want you to see the moment when your money comes in, gets deposited, your salary, and then the pattern that your spending patterns and habits throughout the whole month. Honestly, when my friend told me about this app, I was like, oh yeah, okay, another app, sure, why not? I'll give it a shot. I wasn't sold immediately because I'm someone who don't really like a lot of apps on my phone. But the moment he showed me how it works, told me the pros and cons, I've watched a couple of videos online about the app as well. And then I decided to give it a shot. When you first start putting in your categories, it will take some time to set up. It might not work in the first couple of weeks for you because you might readjust so that the category makes sense. But after a while, you will continue to fine tune. And after a while, you sort of get into a groove and move things around. It is easy after a while. So what is the point of this app is that you give every dollar a job.
This practice, what we call the YNAB method, is simple, but it's life-changing.
You know, previously when you used to travel, I used to travel with different envelopes. You know, what I mean by that is, for example, you have a budget of $1,000 for the trip, right? So maybe you have an envelope that is for food, maybe you have an envelope that is for shopping, gifts, and whatnot. So that's how I used to travel. Yeah, I know it seems a bit weird, right, to walk around with envelopes. So YNAB is literally just a digital version of this. It's quite clever, I think. So in the app, you create different categories, and within that category, you have different items. I name my personal category into like a monthly category, subscription and bills, non-monthly, and emergency, and so forth. Okay, so you can set as many categories as you want, as many line items as you want. And then for each of the item, you of course label it and then put an amount, right? And what I love most about this app is the goal features, right? So you know how when it comes to the end of the year and sometimes you have this large and big expenses like insurance, or you are trying to save up for a big travel trip. So what it does is you can tell YNAB how much you need and when you need it. So YNAB then automatically allocates how much you need to be saving or inputting into this item. So for example, if you need $1,000 at the end of 2026 and you have like 14 months, right? It will 1,000 divided by 14 months. It will give you exactly the amount that you need to input every single month. Okay. So when when after you input it, it will turn green and it will literally say you're on track. If you're not on track, it will be yellow. And yeah, for me, when I see something that is not on track and is yellow, it really annoys me. I will usually take something from another category to make sure that what I'm saving for is still on track. So that usually means that maybe for that particular month, I have less money to spend on food or less money to spend on transport, and I can adjust and give and take. Okay, so then now big expenses then become not so scary for me, which is really good because I like being calm and I don't like worrying about things that I have no control of, and this app literally helps me to be in control. So for me, I'm actually a serial YNABer, and what I mean by that is even down to the 90-cent kopi o kosong that I buy, I will log it right there on the spot. And if for whatever reason that I can't log it on the spot, I will usually do it at the end of the day. Why I do that, right, is because I don't like keeping things till the end of the month. I might forget what I spent, and there's always this nagging feeling at the back that I haven't done something. So if I can fill it in right on the spot, I will do it. And because it syncs from your mobile phone to your desktop, so it's actually really fast free for me. I think for me, the UX is super important because if something is not easy, you will normally give up, right? I'm not saying that you have to use a YNAB or I'm literally selling this app. I'm completely not. But, find something that works for you, find a budgeting tool that works for you, that is, not ugly to look at and you feel happy doing it and you know why you're doing it. Only then that you will actually keep the habit. And I think that's super useful. So for me, YNAB has been something that have been a lifesaver. I think it is an app that I can't live without. So the app is not cheap. I pay about $142 Singapore dollars every year. I think it's money well spent. I know there are cheaper apps out there, there are free apps out there, but use whatever that works for you. What I've learned from the app, I think that is really eye-opening, was that there are patterns, right? There is a report section where you get to see your spending patterns. So there are some months, when I look at the report, I realize that, hey, I think, why did I spend so much money on petrol that month? Or why did I spend more on food or grocery that month? You tend to see patterns. It could be that you were really stressful a certain month and you spend a little bit more, and then what usually happens is you tend to see a yearly pattern if you use the app long enough, right? So then when that month comes again the following year, you can actually allocate a little bit more to that category, so then you don't feel so guilty when you spent it. And it is also a really, really good learning tool for my daughter. For me, if we go to do groceries, right, and then she goes to pick up a treat, and when I show her on the app itself that, hey, we only have $50 to spend for groceries because it is coming to the end of the month, and I tell her that the item that she picked is not going to fit into the budget because we have this amount of things to buy, she usually understands. I say usually, not all the time, but usually she understands. And the important thing is I keep to my promise and I tell her that, okay, look, it's not going to fit the budget this month. We will look into it next month. And I think for kids is really important with everything being digital and cashless these days. I don't want her to think that, money grows on trees or money comes out from this ATM box, which is a very strange concept, right? Because they don't see that the tactile, they don't see money can actually run out. So for me, I don't know about you, right? But in primary school these days, a lot of schools are going to cashless. They have this watch, right, that they can tap when they go to purchase items during recess. For me, that's a no-go. I want my daughter to only be able to know that the coins are running out, that she doesn't have extra 20 cents to spend. I don't like her to know that, you know, money is cashless, if you know what I mean. I like the tactile feeling. So showing her the budget, the household budget, is actually super useful. I want her to know that money do and will run out if you are not careful with it. So to end this video, I just want to say that tracking my money really helps me feel calmer, stressful. It gives me peace, and because I'm aware of where every single cent and dollar goes, and that money now feels a little bit simpler. It is not a perfect routine for me yet. You know, I do overspend sometimes, but at least I know where I overspend and how I can cut back on. So, you know, that gives me a peace of mind. So that's all I have for you today. Thanks for hanging out with me.